This is Morten from INKISH TV. It's been really an honor. This week is jam-packed with a lot of information, and we are here at AGFA's, one of the locations in Cambridge in the UK, to see a brand new machine. We will talk about that a little bit later, but yesterday morning there was a presentation with Sean from Smyth's Pira, talking about all the things that actually makes it, I wouldn't say possible to have this machine, but to understand the market space of these kind of machines. So, Sean, great to see you.
Morten, a great pleasure to see you again. Nice to actually see face to face rather than virtually.
I always remember that the first time I spoke to you was on a virtual one, and I think still it is the longest virtual interview, and I still enjoy it. I have actually from time to time, I do go back and listen to it because I think,
I'm delighted to get your views up. So,
no, I think it's great. I also think your presentation here yesterday was truly great. Obviously, now we are in front of this fantastic SpeedSet 1060 here. A huge machine aimed for not only for the folding carton market, because it can also do the thinner flute types of packaging material, but also down to the paper thing. From let's say from an analyst perspective, does this machine fit the bill to some of the questions converters have?
I think it certainly moves the conversation onwards. Whether it is the all singing, all dancing is difficult to know, but the speed of a machine is really irrelevant, because you can have an offset machine going at 20,000 or 21,000 sheets an hour, but it needs a make ready. It stops. It doesn't run all the time. Oh.
That was just a little intro here, right? Double intro.
I didn't realize you had a soundtrack to go with it. But what this does is this takes the information, the capabilities further. It's 11,000 B1 sheets an hour. That's getting into offset range. The productivity of this device is very different to other ones. And what it means is that companies who are going to use it are going to be thinking much wider than just the short runs, the personalized and version cartons. This is a mainstream carton press.
Also, because I mean, in the morning's introduction to yesterday was also when Matt Brooks spoke about that they even tried to bring down the cost of inkjet, because normally it's always been like, okay, inkjet is still cheaper than toner, but still more expensive than offset. But now they're trying to see if they can bridge that, right?
Well, he hasn't actually told me exactly how much it does cost, but the overall cost of ownership of inkjet is declining, and this is going to be one of the things that helps it decline, particularly if they solve the issue of penetration. So the ink, if you leave the ink on the surface, you don't need anything as much of it, and it's a beneficial thing in there. I'm not sure what the cost of total cost of ownership is, but as Matt's saying, this is going to be significantly lower than many other digital alternatives, and closer to offset. But when you use it in conjunction with offset, your total cost of ownership of your plant, of your facility, you put the right jobs onto this thing, you release capacity on your offset machine, so you can do more over the long runs there, and hopefully you'll get a better overall efficiency of your facility, not just looking at the digital press in isolation.
One of the things you spoke about in your presentation was also this, let's say, digital passport on the product.
EU digital product passport. Yeah.
Precisely. Yeah. I was just thinking, because I mean, obviously digital seems to be the easiest way to get there, right? But it's also still like, I mean, you cannot imagine that an entire industry goes digital within just 5, 6, 7 years, right? I mean,
well, it's been going digital for a lot longer than that, and this is the legislation from the EU talking about a digital product passport. Effectively, what they're doing is they're having a unique identifier on a range of individual products, having the capability of printing that as part of the print process without having to put a label on it or using some form of coding and marking. That the quality may not be as good, it'll interfere with the aesthetics of the label. We think is going to be a significant driver for the adoption of digital packaging, because you can, there is no penalty for you as long as you sort the data out at the moment. You generate a unique carton, a unique code. It is probably going to be some form of 2D QR code, dot matrix thing in there, and it'll offer huge, significant improvements for consumers in terms of circularity, in terms of understanding what that product really is.
Yeah, you're probably aware because I mean we have been covering BHS for a long time, and with the Box Plan 2025, I mean the QR code is a very essential part of the entire flow from, let's say, raw material to finished product, basically.
Absolutely, yeah. It enables you to improve your logistics efficiency. Take waste out of any supply chain, take cost out of any supply chain, and take time out of any supply chain, and the supply chain gods will thank you very much. And this technology helps you do time and cost and waste out of the supply chain. Therefore, it's how it's going to exactly sort of work out, nobody really knows. But I think this can be a useful tool to getting more efficient supply chains and helping you meet your customers' requirements of agility and flexibility, which are really growing and increasingly important post-pandemic, because that's the new normal now. You can't take weeks to change a design, to interact with that, because your brands don't have weeks to do it. Yeah. Their demand forecasting models are becoming ever more sophisticated because we're in a digital world. We can track sales in real time. You can track the way that these things are going. And this is a tool that will enable converters to better meet some of their brands' changing demands.
When I listen to presentations like the one you gave, I mean, you gave, of course, I mean, the way I see it was not specifically to the AGFA showcase, of course. It's more like general considerations and views and research on the market thing. How ready do you feel that the market is for all the changes? Because as you said, it's customer-driven demand when it comes to some of the things we just talked about. But how ready is the industry?
I think the industry, it's difficult to know when it's going to be ready. Timing is always important. But what I see is there are some companies using digital technology to print packaging, labels, flexible packaging, carton, corrugate, and they're making a lot of money. And they're doing some things that their customers value and will pay for. More and more people will try and do similar types of things. And it's mainstream now. You know, we're talking about there is billions of dollars worth of digital cartons being produced every day. Well, not billions of dollars every day, but on an annual basis. Now, we see the growth rates way above the growth rates in flexo, in offset litho. You know, digital print, when you get the right business model, is going to be the engine of growth, we think, in cartons going forward.
But I can't help thinking about, because when we talk about the business model, and one thing is the business model for the converter and the printing companies supplying, let's say, what the market is demanding, but also the business models from the, let's say, the retailers, the brands, the OEMs are changing rapidly all these years, and that needs to be aligned, kind of thing.
Of course, right? We're seeing proliferation in a number of types of categories of things. So salt-free, fat-free, gluten-free, non-allergen. So free. Well, maybe not free. In that, but more and more categories of these things, and they don't know which is going to succeed. The average lifespan of a product is declining. It'll be refreshed. There will be new things in there. The analog process, great if you want high volumes of low-cost things, but if all of a sudden cranberry juice comes into fashion and then goes out of fashion, having a set of gravure cylinders or plates for the cranberry isn't going to help you sell more juice in the supermarkets. And the supermarkets are tracking everything. You're seeing growth in e-commerce, more and more customer reaction and capabilities are going to make these things more and more speedy, more and more time to market, more and more agility. And the analog, great though it is not the most agile of processes. And we see devices such as this. Yes, there are other people, but we're in a Cambridge facility here, so I'm looking forward to seeing the reaction of people when they see this, because it's a real mainstream print device that can be used to make carton manufacturing lightweight, corrugate flute, and some other applications. There are some of the people from the display sector here looking at it, because they see things it can do for their business to make their businesses better. And if the technology helps you make money, it'll succeed. And this technology can help people across the supply chain make a lot of money.
Last question, Sean. Can you still be excited when you see new technology like this?
This is the great bit of this job that I do. It's I've been in printing for longer than I care to remember. It is fantastic to see new devices and things the size that this is, and looking at the individual bits. I'm a tech geek, so it's great. But what's really interesting is how you make money using this technology. And this will help some companies make a lot of money, I'm sure.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir.
Morten, thank you.